The Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, or CAATSA, remains one of the most significant geopolitical obstacles shaping India's modern defense procurement strategy. It has directly affected ongoing Indo-Russian military engagements, such as discussions on the Sukhoi Su-57 stealth fighter, while indirectly influencing India's dependence on United States-supplied engines for the Tejas fighter program. What is CAATSA? The Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act was enacted in August 2017 by the United States Congress to punish Russia, Iran, and North Korea for their perceived adversarial actions, ranging from interference in United States elections to human rights violations and military aggression. Under CAATSA, the United States President is required to impose at least 5 sanctions from a list of 12 possible penalties on any entity engaging in a significant transaction with the Russian defense or intelligence sectors. Restrictions on financial transactions, export controls, and diplomatic measures limiting access to United States technologies or markets. Why does CAATSA matter to India? CAATSA strikes at the heart of India's defense procurement flexibility. The act has already affected India's S-400 Triumph missile purchase in 2018. Though New Delhi went ahead with the deal, Washington threatened sanctions similar to those imposed on Turkey, a NATO ally expelled from the F-35 program for buying the same Russian system. India ultimately escaped direct penalization, likely due to United States' recognition of its strategic importance in balancing China. However, the legislation continues to serve as a sword of Damocles over India's head in any major Russian deal. The Su-57 controversy. In 2025, Russia renewed its offer for India to join the production and acquisition program of the Su-57 Echo, an export variant of its 5th-generation stealth fighter. The proposal was ambitious: joint production at Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Nashik, transfer of advanced stealth technologies, and potential access to export markets under Indian partnership terms. Such a deal could have rapidly enhanced India's air dominance, filling the gap before the indigenous advanced medium combat aircraft becomes operational by the mid-2030s. However, these discussions coincided with growing friction between Moscow and Washington due to the prolonged Ukraine conflict and renewed Western sanctions. President Donald Trump's administration, determined to keep pressure on Russia, reportedly signaled that India could face CAATSA penalties if the Su-57 deal advanced without United States consultation. This warning put India's top leadership in a diplomatic bind. As a result, Defense Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh confirmed that discussions were ongoing, but, had not reached a tangible stage for public disclosure, pointing to internal caution in the face of sanction risks. Informally, analysts noted that the Su-57 talks were paused, not canceled, until a clearer geopolitical picture emerged and Russia's war in Ukraine reached some stability. Complicating matters further is the indirect but critical link between CAATSA and India's Tejas light combat aircraft program. The Tejas Mark 1A currently depends on the United States-made General Electric F404 engines, while its larger successor, the Tejas Mark II, and the AMCA, are both designed to use the GE F414 power plant. The production of these engines in India, under a landmark co-manufacturing agreement promising up to 80% technology transfer, is a flagship initiative in Prime Minister Modi's Make in India defense modernization drive. However, any deterioration in Indo-United States relations due to Russian defense procurements could jeopardize this arrangement. Delays have already plagued engine deliveries, prompting Defense Minister Rajnath Singh to confront his U.S. counterpart earlier this year and demand expedited shipments. Officially, these slowdowns are attributed to global supply disruptions, but analysts within India suspect that Washington could be leveraging the supply chain as a subtle form of diplomatic pressure, especially as India flirts with Moscow over the Su-57. India's strategic dilemma, it's a tricky one. This dual dependency, Russian technology for platforms and US technology for propulsion, really encapsulates the broader dilemma of India's foreign policy. New Delhi aspires to avoid bloc politics, seeking to maintain a multi-alignment strategy that allows engagement with all global powers. Yet, the CAATSA framework forces nations to choose, a reality that conflicts directly with India's traditional non-alignment ethos. Beyond the immediate concerns of SU-57 or Tejas engines, CAATSA underscores why India must urgently indigenize its defense industry. Both public and private sector investments under the Atmanirbhar Bharat framework seek to replace imported systems with domestic alternatives, from engines and avionics to stealth technologies. Until that point, India remains at the mercy of foreign suppliers. A misstep on either side, Russia or the US, could ripple through the entire ecosystem of aviation. So, the road ahead, well, it's anything but simple. For now, New Delhi's apparent pause in SU-57 negotiations reflects prudence rather than fear. Officials really do understand the high stakes here. It's all about balancing access to cutting-edge Russian stealth technology while still maintaining smooth cooperation with United States defense firms, which are just, vital to India's modernization goals. India continues quietly advocating for a formal CAATSA waiver for key partner nations. A position, by the way, that's supported privately by several United States lawmakers who see India as indispensable in containing China's rise. In sum, CAATSA is not just an American law. It's a test of India's ability to navigate great power politics without compromising its sovereign defense choices. Whether the current pause in SU-57 talks marks a temporary recalibration or a strategic retreat will depend on how deftly India can balance Washington's demands, Moscow's persistence, and its own long-term vision of self-reliant security. Thank you for watching. If you found the video insightful, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.